Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are strapping in for a pretty deep exploration of something crucial but often overlooked in financial planning.
We're talking about the rigorous documented process that a financial professional has to go through before they can even think about recommending an annuity to you.
Exactly. This isn't just about a product.
Not at all. Our sources today are really focused on the agent's obligations. We're dissecting this entire ethical decision-making matrix. It's an analytical process that's completely rooted in the principle of suitability.
So the goal here is to show you, the listener, the internal structure that's supposed to protect you and make sure any recommendation is sound, transparent, and, legally defensible.
Right.
This deep dive is really for anyone reviewing a retirement plan, or if you just want to know what level of due diligence your financial guide is actually required to perform. Let's start at the beginning. Finding the right candidate.
Finding the right candidate. Well, first, you have to get that an annuity isn't just one single thing. Our sources really divide potential investors into profiles based on what they need that contract to do.
Okay, so you have the straightforward path. The investor who's just looking for reliable, regular income. That person is probably a good fit for a payout annuity, right? At the classic definition, you put in a lump sum, you get payments back.
Correct. But then you have a more nuanced candidate. This is someone looking for what we call an accumulation annuity.
And this person isn't necessarily focused on immediate income?
No, not at all. They're primarily looking for a very, very conservative, non-income paying investment.
Okay, hold on. That sounds a little counterintuitive. Why would you choose a non-income paying annuity when you could use other conservative things like, I don't know, GICs?
And that is the perfect question. This is exactly where the contrast with segregated funds comes into play. Precisely. The key strategic benefit of an accumulation annuity over, say, a seg fund contract is avoiding certain structural hurdles that can really limit growth or liquidity for a conservative saver.
Let's talk about those hurdles because I think the details here are really important.
Okay, so the first one is liquidity, or more accurately, the lack of it. Segregated funds often come with a mandated 10-year term to maturity.
A 10-year lockup.
A 10-year lockup. And if you're a conservative saver who thinks you might need that capital sooner, that's a serious limitation an agent has to consider. An accumulation annuity can offer more flexibility there.
And then there's the cost structure. With seg funds, we're talking about sales charges and the annual management expense ratio, the MER.
The MER is the big one. It's the fee that's charged every single year to run the fund. And for a very conservative investor who's just aiming for, predictable, slow growth, a high annual MER can just be a constant drag on returns.
So it really eats away at the effectiveness of the whole thing over time.
It absolutely does. So if you're an investor who's prioritizing capital preservation and trying to avoid those ongoing costs and those long-term restrictions on your money.
And the accumulation annuity suddenly looks like a much more attractive option compared to the seg fund.
It does. But, and this is the baseline for this whole conversation, it doesn't matter if it's a payout annuity, an accumulation annuity, or a segregated fund. The core principle of suitability has to be satisfied.
Which means a thorough comparison of alternatives is completely non-negotiable.
Exactly. It requires deep analysis, not just assumptions.
And that brings us to the core of the agent's actual work. Satisfying suitability means they have to ask a whole battery of mandatory questions to really tailor the recommendation.
This is where we move from just, product descriptions to actual regulatory requirements. The agent's job is to analyze the pros and the cons of different products, compare them systematically, and then formulate a recommendation.
It's fascinating because these questions, they really force the agent to be more of an architect, right? They're designing a solution, not just pushing a product. Let's detail these 7 analysis points.
Okay, question 1 immediately filters the product type. Does the client need income or savings?
Simple enough. Payout versus accumulation.
Question 2 moves to the dependency structure. Is the coverage just for the client, or does it need to extend to protect a spouse or partner as well?
So joint versus single life coverage. Got it.
Question 3 is all about the time frame. Is the income need temporary, maybe to bridge a gap, or is it for the rest of their life?
And question 4 is timing. When does the income need to start? Immediately, or can it be deferred? A huge difference.
Huge. Then question 5, and this one is maybe the most crucial for matching a client's risk profile.
Okay.
Does the client require a level income, something fixed and guaranteed, or is a variable income stream a better fit for their needs?
Let's clarify that distinction because level versus variable can sound like jargon, but it's really about certainty versus growth potential, isn't it?
That's a perfect way to put it. Level income is ultimate stability. It's fixed, reliable, removes market risk. It lets you budget perfectly.
The variable.
Variable income is usually tied to market performance. So yes, it has the potential to grow over time, but it also carries the risk of decreasing if the market stumbles. Asking this question is really about assessing the client's emotional need for certainty.
That's a much more meaningful conversation than just checking a box. What are the last two questions in this framework?
Question 6 is logistics. How will the client fund the contract? A single lump sum or periodic payments? And finally, question 7, the necessary evil. What is the tax impact going to be?
Right, both now and in the future.
Exactly.
Wow, that is a remarkably comprehensive framework. It means the agent has to run multiple scenarios to answer those questions. But the analysis is only half the battle.
Yeah.
Then comes accountability, the documentation.
Documentation is not just key. It's the entire legal firewall for everyone involved. The agent has to back up their final decision in a formal document we call the reason why letter.
And why is that letter so crucial for you, the investor?
Because it's your proof of diligence. It's essential. It details the alternatives that were presented and explains exactly why the recommended annuity was better than the other suitable options.
So if you question the investment 5 years later,
This letter proves the agent did their homework at the time. It prevents the accusation that they just sold the product with the highest commission without doing any comparative analysis.
that really reframes the letter from just being tedious paperwork into a powerful tool for the investor. You should ask to see it. And what about the client's role in all this?
Their role is the absolute final piece. The client's decision, their agreement that the recommendation is sound, all of it must be formally recorded in the agent's notes. It creates a full, auditable circle.
Okay, now let's shift from the rigid process to the much messier world of ethical application. What happens when the perfect product just doesn't exist?
And this is the true ethical test. An agent's analysis might show it's just impossible to find one product that ticks all 7 of the client's boxes.
So what then? Do they just walk away?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
If a perfect fit is impossible, the agent can proceed with the best available option. But their obligation here increases dramatically. They have to explicitly point out both the product's advantages and its shortfalls.
Honesty is paramount.
Absolutely.
Can you give me a quick example of what a shortfall might look like in that letter?
Sure. Let's say a client needs absolute income stability for life. That's question 3. But they also need some limited liquidity for an emergency.
Okay.
And let's say the only available annuity that gives them lifelong income also has a big 15% surrender penalty for the first 3 years. Right, so the agent has to document. This product addresses the lifelong income need perfectly, but the client must be aware of and accept the 15% liquidity shortfall if this money is needed before year 4.
That raises a really tough question about an agent's motivation, doesn't it? Especially with compensation involved.
It absolutely does. An agent's ethics are tested most severely if the most suitable recommendation means they lose the sale.
Like if the best fit is a zero-commission product from a competitor,
Or if the analysis shows that maybe no annuity is the right call, maybe keeping the money somewhere else is better.
And the professional standard is clear, even if it hurts their bottom line.
Unwavering honesty is the only acceptable course. They have to explain the rationale clearly, even if it means no sale. The client's needs have to come before their own compensation, period.
That really is the foundation of trust. But this diligence doesn't stop there. There's also this requirement for continuous learning. Agents can't just rest on their laurels.
That's a critical rule in the sources. They have to actively keep up with new products, innovations, changes in the market. It's explicitly stated that it's never appropriate to just rely on former decisions or a small stable of products they're comfortable with.
That's huge for you as an investor. It means the agent can't just recycle an old recommendation. Every decision has to be based on a fresh review of what's currently available.
Right, both new and old offerings. And this commitment to what's current becomes really central when you're comparing annuities and seg funds again.
We've established that if reliable fixed income is the priority, annuities are probably preferred.
Yes, but the recommendation process often leads to a conclusion of synergy. It's not always an either scenario.
So you can blend them.
Absolutely. It might be perfectly suitable to get both a segregated fund contract, maybe to capture market growth while protecting capital with its guarantees, and an annuity for its guaranteed income stream. They serve different masters in a portfolio.
That seems like a much more sophisticated approach as long as it's documented properly.
It is. But the core requirement is always the same, a sound basis for the recommendation. The outcome has to be the direct result of weighing client needs against product features, reviewing all the limitations, and making sure the client fully understands why that specific mix is the best for them.
So we've covered a lot of ground, from the technical differences between annuity types to the mandated suitability framework and finally to the ethical tests. The three pillars seem clear. Detailed needs analysis, unwavering ethical documentation, that reason why letter, and the continuous obligation to be current on everything the market has to offer.
Right. And this deep dive really equips you, the listener, with crucial knowledge. Being a well-informed investor means you can feel empowered to ask your agent to walk you through that documented rationale. You now know exactly what they are required to have prepared.
It's a powerful standard of accountability.
And it raises one last question. If an agent must always prioritize current products over old ones when making new recommendation, it makes you think about your existing investments. How frequently should you expect a comprehensive review of your existing annuity to ensure its continued suitability against new market innovations? If you bought your annuity 5 years ago, is it still the best one available today? That is certainly something worth mulling over.